Happy to have my next guest back on the show. You know who it is, Jornel Lugo, who will be back in action against Jaylon Bates on February the 4th at Bellator 290. Jornel, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Just got back from sparring, so about to relax for the day now.
All right. Well, I appreciate you making a few minutes out of your day to talk to me. You mentioned just finishing up sparring, so let's just start right there. How has camp been for you this far?
Camp's been good, man. It's been a tough camp because I had to do like pretty much two camps back to back. I was supposed to fight Jalen back in November, but that had got canceled, so I pretty much just continued training straight through. So I've been working hard for a long period of time. So it's been a hard camp, but ready to fight now.
Yeah, I noticed that too. That Jalen actually withdrew from that bout. Do you know exactly why?
Something with the medicals, man. These medicals got different. Like now instead of like before we used to be able to get our eye work and different tests done by like an optometrist. Now you have to get your eye work done by an ophthalmologist. Something with the medicals is it's a little bit more difficult now. Like it's a lot more hard to make sure that you have all your medicals cleared. So something with I think his eye work didn't go through the way it was supposed to.
Gotcha. Well, it looks like it's a go for February 4th. And this Bellator 290 card is fantastic, man. That's a heck of a card to be on. As far as training partners go for this camp, anyone new that you're getting some working with, or is it pretty much the same guys?
Same guys. You know, I cross train with people from different gyms. And I guess I'm good work with a lot of the guys I've been working with just for a long time. So nothing, no new bodies. Just switched up the type of drilling that I'm doing and the type of work that I do. But same people.
With the initial fight being canceled here and now moved to February 4th for Bellator 290, is your weight any different? I mean, you've been in camp for a while now. I imagine maybe that you're feeling nice and lean.
Uh, yeah. I mean, well, I'm a little bit bigger. I think I'm a little bigger than I was before than I used to be. So um, I'm trying to get the weight down a little bit before I make that cut. So that's what I'm working on right now because I've been working out for since my last fight. I was working out since then, so like I was able to put on a little bit of muscle. So now I'm trying to like get the weight down a little bit. So
Okay. And you mentioned that last fight, so let's talk about it. That was in April. It was a UD loss to Danny Sabatello. That was the first loss of your career, man. I can't imagine that that was a very easy thing to go through. What did you learn from that fight?
I learned a lot, man. I mean, it sucks, you know. Like when for me, it's more so not. I'm not like angry or anything that I lost, but more so just disappointed in my own abilities, you know. So I had to really go in and analyze my game and switch up a lot of things. You know, like before, I think my grappling style. I started grappling when I was 14. And my grappling style has always been more of like a jiu-jitsu based kind of style. But because of that fight, what I realized is that the majority of people that are going to get you down are going to be more wrestling based. I'm not saying jiu-jitsu people are not going to get you down, but they're going to get you down a lesser percentage of times than a wrestler is going to get you down. So like my whole style being geared towards jiu-jitsu people is a pretty much like a flaw in my understanding of fighting. I should have had my style more geared towards wrestlers because the people that are going to take you down are going to be more so the wrestlers. So I had to really switch up a lot of stuff in my game and make a lot of adjustments. But I've done that over the last 9 months, and now I feel comfortable again. You know, cause at that point I'm like, damn, like I really had to had to reinvent my style kind of when it comes to grappling. So if anything, it was a good thing that that happened because let's say if I would have fought somebody who had a little bit lesser wrestling than him, and maybe I would have lost by a little bit. Who knows if I would have been able to like go to the drawing board and really reevaluate my whole game? I would have probably just thought like, well, he just got me here and there, but there's not much to change. But because of how I pretty much got shut out, I did get shut out. You know, that really made me go, okay, there's a big problem. I got to fix this. You know.
Yeah, no doubt, and that's actually great to hear. I'm sure that that's just going to benefit you here more so moving forward. With that loss too to Danny, I mean, we all know he likes to talk a lot. Did you get a chance to chat with him at all after the fight and maybe smooth things over, or did that not come to
Nah,
fruition?
nah, I never spoke to him after. But it's not like it's not hard feelings or anything like that. I mean, I think what he's doing is good. Talking, it's good for the sport. You know, it's good for Bellator. Bellator needs that. We need more people that are going to be more vocal and help promote the fights. That's always a good thing. I don't think it's a personal thing. It's not like he knows me or anything. He doesn't know anything about me. I don't know anything about him. So I think uh, all the talking and the banter, I think that's a good. I think it's good. It's good for entertainment. And I don't think it's like hard feelings or anything like that.
Okay. Did you watch the fight with Rafion Stotts? And if so, how did you score that?
I had it 3-2 for Rafian. I thought Rafian had the second and third in the fifth round, and Danny had the first and the fourth. The second and third were like clear. The fifth round was a little bit harder to judge, obviously, but the thing is that Rafian did some damage with the strikes in the fifth round, whereas Danny, all he did was hold on to him for the last like 2 or 3 minutes. And now that the judging is being more swayed towards actual damage, you can't just hold on to people and wrestle people anymore. You have to actually you have to hurt people. You have to go in there and damage them. So I thought he won that. I thought it was a clear win, but I thought it was a hard fight. I thought it was very hard for both of them. It was a tough fight.
Yeah, and I was cage side watching that fight. It was very, very close. And you're right. Stotts definitely had some more damage. Sabatello's wrestling control was what scored him a lot of points and got him those rounds. Now you have Stotts as the interim champion, Sergio Pettis as the champion. They're going to unify the belt, I imagine, at some point soon. How do you see that fight going?
That's a tough fight, man. I think that's a tough fight because the thing about it is, I feel like stylistically, I feel like Danny would beat Sergio. Stylistically, I think that's a better matchup for Danny. But with Rafael Stotts, he's not as like thirsty for the wrestling and for the grappling, even though he can wrestle, but he's not as thirsty. So it's gonna come down a little bit more to more striking. Um, so I think it could be a close fight. If Sergio go in there and he's real defensive with his wrestling, it could be a tough fight. I think it's gonna be a real. I think it's gonna be a close fight. I don't see any one of them like shutting the other one out. I think if Stotts win, it's gonna be probably because he's gonna control Sergio maybe on the cage or on the ground. And if Sergio wins, it's going to be because he landed the better damage on the feet. So I think it'll be close. But honestly, I think it's like a 50-50 fight.
Okay. So right now, obviously, with those three at the kind of like the top of the division, right? Then you throw in Patchy Mix, Juan Archuleta, Magomedov. Who else do you feel like could sneak in there? Maybe win the belt, pull an upset. Is there anyone that you feel like is just maybe a bad style matchup for some of these guys at the top of the division?
So like outside of the tournament, like everyone,
Yeah.
uh, I think Barzola is a really good fighter. I think his wrestling and his pace, his pressure. I think him versus Sergio. I think he has a good chance. He probably has a good chance to beat Sergio. Archuleta, I think he's such a good fighter. He's just fast paced. I think he can get the butt. That the top of the division at 135 right now is just so stiff. Like Patchy Mix, his grappling is just on a different level right now. So like stylistically, I think he wipes Danny stylistically. Whereas I think Danny will get the better of Sergio Pettis pretty easily. So it's like the MMA math at the top of this division probably doesn't make much sense because there's probably people who can beat this division is stacked, man. So it's stacked.
Yeah, very well put there, my man. One of the things I wanted to ask you is I follow you on all social media forms, and I love the positivity that you put out there. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that and just kind of understand where you're coming from that. Why did you decide to kind of go that route with your social media and how do you stay positive when maybe you get some pushback from some negative people or haters?
Well, so the thing about it is not really like a route that I'm deciding to go. It's just like I'm a Christian, and these are the things that I believe. So like if I'm like reading my Bible or something like that, and something big makes me feel strongly, I just want to post it. I'll just post whatever verse that I like, or if I see a controversial topic online, I'll post about it, and I like to fight about it. Like I'll post an idea, and I'm ready to fight for my beliefs, basically. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really like it's not really a publicity thing. That's more just like I like this. So I just post what I like, and then I'm willing to fight about it, kind of like if that makes sense. It's like I think X, Y, and Z, and I don't care what you got, who thinks about it. Like.
For sure. And it's just like nowadays, social media it's almost like a necessity, especially if you're trying to grow in a certain field, right? Like how do you stay away from or not let the negativity bother you? Because it just seems like you're solely focused on just spreading positive vibes and talking about things that are uplifting.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a bunch of, I mean, the internet is very, it's like it's like a war ground kind of. That's kind of how I see it. Like it's just a bunch of people that just say nasty things that are just like the things that people will say on the internet compared to what people will say in real life is like night and day. Like on the internet, people are destroying everybody. Like it doesn't matter who you are. Like LeBron James can have like the best game. You go under the comments of the highlight in that video, and people are just destroying him. Like people are just on the internet are just nasty. You know, it doesn't matter who you are, what you do. There's people that are going to be talking junk. You know, so for me, it's just I don't. I think it's just part of it. You know, you can't let that get to you. You got to just stick to your guns. And like it's irrelevant. It's like water off a duck's back to me. I don't care about that. You know, I'm sticking to what I believe, and I'm gonna keep saying what I believe in. You know.
Well, I love what you're doing, man. So definitely keep it up. I love the stuff that you're posting. It resonates with me. Let's transition to Bellator 290, February 4th. It's in Cali. I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, if I was in your shoes, I'd want to get out there maybe a little bit early, enjoy some of that nice weather. What's the plan as far as travel getting to California?
You said what's the plan?
Yes, like when are you going to be leaving there? You're going to go a little early?
No, actually, I get there on Wednesday. I live in Florida, so I like where I live. I like the weather over here. But yeah, I get there on Wednesday, but I'm gonna be staying a little bit late because this is a good church over there that I'm gonna be going to, First Works Baptist. So I'm gonna stay a little bit later and enjoy some time after the fight as opposed to before the fight.
Okay. Where exactly is that church located?
Anaheim.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure where, but I think that's close. It's close to LA, Anaheim.
Yeah, it's like 45 minutes, no traffic. So I used to live
Yeah,
out
yeah.
there, so
I'm gonna be visiting that church, so that's something that I'm gonna do afterwards. So I'm gonna try to stay out a little longer.
good for you. All right, and this is as I mentioned earlier, Jornel. This is a great card. Give me a couple of title picks here before we talk about Jaylon Bates. The heavyweight title, Ryan Bader and Fedor, and then the middleweight scrap between Johnny Eblen and Anatoly Tokov. That's for the middleweight title. Who do you see winning those two fights?
Uh, I think Ryan Bader. I think Ryan Bader wins that the champion wins that fight because I think Fedor's just really old. You know, he's a good fighter still, but man, he's I mean, how long he's been fighting forever? You know, great. He's great, had a great career, but I just think he's kind of old. You know, but Johnny Eblen, I think he's gonna win his fight. That guy's good. I just watched this fight versus Musasi
Yeah.
because I didn't get to watch it when it happened. And damn, he's a beast. His wrestling, his hands, his pace. He got good cardio. He doesn't get discouraged. That guy's good. At 185, you could put him up against the best in the world. He's gonna hang in there with like I think even in the UFC he does a great job. That guy's he's fire.
Yeah, I agree with both of those. And yeah, Johnny Eblen's the real deal. I think that he could be the champion for a really long time in Bellator for as long as he stays. Let's talk about Jaylon Bates. This is an undefeated fighter. He's 6-0. Four of his wins are by submission, and all six of his fights are under the Bellator promotion. So he's gotten a lot of high level opponents. How do you like this matchup for yourself?
I think it's a good matchup. I think it's a fair matchup. You know, I think it's fair for both of us stylistically. I think it's timing wise. I think I've seen him when he made his debut. I watched his debut in Bellator, so I've known about him. I've watched his fights and stuff like that. I think he has a. I think he's a good. I think he's a good fighter, and he's a winner. He wants to win. You know, like he goes out there and he fights his hardest. You know, sporadic, like a sporadic grappling style. Like he's basically. But I do feel like he's kind of like an opportunist a little bit. Like as like he's gonna take advantage of more situations as opposed to like a Danny who's kind of more offensive with it and kind of like create some opportunities. He more so is gonna if you make a mistake, he's gonna capitalize on it. That's kind of how I feel like his game is set up, and he wants to grapple obviously.
Right. Do you feel more pressure coming off that loss to Danny to go in and get a win and maybe an emphatic win, get a finish here?
I wouldn't say more because every time I fight, I feel like I take every fight very serious. It's my livelihood. It's how I provide for my family. And if you lose, you get closer to being cut by the organization. So like every single time I fight, it's a really big deal. So I wouldn't say it's more pressure. It's just as much as how it's always been. But I definitely do want to go out there and dominate and entertain the fans. I want to be able to be a fighter that fans enjoy to watch. I don't want to just be like a boring guy that when people see me fight, it's just like, oh, he's fighting. I know he might win, but it's not gonna be that fun. So I definitely want to get into a good fight and entertain the fans and also get the dub.
Is Jaylon Bates a more difficult matchup for you than Danny Sabatello?
I think he's a good fighter, but I don't think stylistically he's as hard of a matchup as Danny was when I fought him. Just because Danny's just like a pure wrestler, and that's what he's coming to do, and that's the only thing he wants to do. I think Jalen's just like that too. If I'm him, I'm just gonna try to grapple myself the whole time. I wouldn't like. Why would I strike with me? I wouldn't for what. So I think it's similar, but I think Danny's still more dangerous, more of a hard fight.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Give me your official prediction. Do you think this goes the distance, or are you going to get him out of there?
I want to stop him, man. I think if I use my experience to my advantage and just my IQ with my new style that I'm working, I think I could be able to stop him.
All right, man. I can't wait to see you back in there. April, again, was the last fight. So it's been far too long since we've been able to see you compete inside the Bellator cage. Again, February 4th, Bellator 290, Jornel Lugo back in action. Great talking to you as always, man. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. Please tell people where they can follow you on social media. If you have anyone to thank, any sponsors, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at A Uno Lugo, AUNOLUGO. Thank you.